Hello and welcome to another one of my League of Legends guides. This is Dairid. I'm going to be doing a more in-depth guide on the lanes, and I'm going to give a little champion mini guide to give new players some champions they can learn and some cheap champions they can buy really quickly that are effective. The lane is mid, and the champion is Annie. She is an AP caster. You want to think like a warlock or a mage or something like that. She's very stereotypical. And when you start with a set amount of gold, 475. And you have three main item choices. You can go for a Doran's item, which I'm going to buy. You can also get boots and a couple health potions. This is a very safe buy because it gives you mobility and it gives you a little sustain. And your last is you can try to rush an item. You can buy the very core components of your item and go towards an item. That's a little more of an aggressive move. It's effective, but I wouldn't recommend it to new players. For new players, I'd recommend either go for a Doran's or a boots. But beware, the Doran's has really good stats and it's very cheap. It's a good item, but it doesn't build into anything more, so towards the middle and the end of the game, it just starts taking up one of your very few item slots you have. So, if you get a Doran's, realize you'll probably be selling it at some point. And a little more specifically about Annie, she follows the basic rule. She has her three main abilities and her ultimate. And then she has a passive. Her passive is every fourth attack will stun the target for 1.75 seconds. And when I say attack, I mean ability she casts. So every time I cast my Q, you see this little counter going up. When it reaches 4, I'll be stunning the target on that attack. Her W is a cone, cone of fire basically. It does good damage, it has good scaling, and for the most part that's the first move you're going to want to try to max. The very first move you'll get in lane is usually Q. And not because it's the best or anything, but because it makes last hitting very easy. If your Q hits and kills them, you get full refund of all the mana, so you can use your Q to make last hitting a lot easier. You can also use it to charge up your passive. That way you can just have a stun just ready. That way if they try to mess with you, you can just stun them and you can hurt them for trying to do that. And for the most part, when you're in a lane, you're not going to want to push the lane. Like, you don't want to just sit here and auto attack creeps. It sounds like a cool idea, but what it ends up doing is you end up pushing the lane further towards their tower, and the closer you are towards their tower, the more overextended you are. That's the term they use. And basically what that means is you're at more danger of being ganked, of someone else coming in the lane, getting up behind you, and hurting you. And so your main goal will be just kind of sit around, last hit more effectively than they can. There's some more detailed things to go into it, but see, as I'm last hitting quite a bit and messing around, I push to the tower. Now these are just bots, so they're not going to punish me for it, but if this was a real game, the jungler could be coming up through here, and if there's a jungler over there and I'm up here, I'm probably going to die, and so you want to try to avoid that. And also, if possible, you do want to try to hurt and or kill your lane opponent, because the more you keep them away from the creeps and out of the lane, the less gold they're making and the less powerful they'll be. So if you can punish them just for being around, that's a good idea to do. But be a little careful with it, because they can hurt you right back for the most part. There's not too many matchups that are just completely one-sided where one champion can bully the other one. And if you kill the champion, like I just did there, because he's a dumb bot, usually what we want to do is you want to push your lane all the way to the tower as quickly as possible. See, I'm spamming all my abilities. You still want to get your last hits, but you want to push that to the lane, because you want the tower to kill those couple minions, and you want to give yourself time to use B, recall back, and buy some more items. Because if you can go back there, you've got the kill money, you've got money from the farm, and you've got more levels, and you can be back to lane most of the times before they're rezzed up and back. And they also missed out on more, because if you're pushed up to their tower, you're gonna miss out on maybe 5 or 6 creeps that you could have killed, but they're going to miss on an entire wave because the tower took out a wave. And then you get back before they do, and you push your advantage even further. And that's the basics of that lane. Oh yeah, also, I'm not going to get that level up for, but she also has an ultimate. Here, I'll get it real quick. But, and it summons a bear, drops him down. It does good damage. And also the bear sticks around and will attack, and the attack doesn't do much, but he has an AoE that burns targets around him. So, you can use that with all of your abilities, and you can drop down a lot of burst on Annie. That's really one of the things that makes her a very effective mage, is that once she gets her ult, she can see, I've got my, right now you can see I've got my I've got my passive charged up, so my next attack will stun him, and I can stun him and drop everything I got like this, and see the massive amount of damage I did. He did get away because he's Swain and he's a tricky target, and I didn't buy any offensive items, but you know, you can see how she has a lot of burst, so she can be very effective in that matter. Those are the basics of the mid lane, and a little bit of the basics of just how you want to play the lane. You know, watch how you're pushing. You don't want to miss last hits like I've been doing because I'm talking, I'm not really paying attention. And those are the basics of mid and a little bit of the basics of Annie. She's a very cheap, good champion to buy. If you're a new player, I'd recommend her. And remember, rate, comment, and subscribe.